Because there's a lot of other brands that's dope shit, and
Right.
it's super expensive. You understand what I'm saying? Like I'm not gonna
Hmm.
buy
Yeah, that part.
a Gucci T-shirt for $500 or whatever,
Yeah.
and I could buy this person's T-shirt that's dope,
Right.
and I could support, and it looks dope. Like yo, I went out the other day. Like I told you, I was at PT, and somebody saw me with Carl's joint,
All right.
and dude stopped me. He's like, "Yo, where you get that?
The
That's your brand,
19
the
like
1996 shit,
none, yeah, all right.
right?"
Okay.
So I'm like,
That's a great year.
yeah, I was like, yo, I said, nah, this is somebody's brand or whatever. Um, so he was like, he saw this hat too. He said, that's your brand? I said, nah, this is another one of my homies' brand.
Mhm.
And he was like, I got my own my own joint. Shout out to what's his name, Cash. It's Cash something. I followed him on Instagram. He followed us on Instagram, and
Shout out to
he
Cash.
had he has like he has a brand where instead of saying got milk, he like got Skrilla, got cash or something like that. That's what
Okay.
his tagline is on his t-shirt.
Yeah.
He said,
With the
yo,
question mark?
yeah, with the
Yeah.
question mark.
Yeah.
And basically he said he's running just different colorways and he's like, this shit is moving.
Right.
So I gave him, calls info and told him, yo, check him out, hit him up, just let him know that cigars and whiskey, told you about him or whatever.
Right.
And I'm like, yo, because I wear that hoodie a lot. You
Yeah, yeah,
understand
yeah,
what I'm
yeah, yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I like it. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. But I like the hoodie. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
And a lot of these brands that I do support, they're very creative. It's nice clothes. You know what I mean? So why not?
Absolutely.
Instead of spending a ton of money. Also, with this whole tariff thing coming out and China exposing that a lot of these things are
It's
made with
cap.
you think it's cap?
Yeah, it's cap. They get showing the canal street down there. They get showing where they make like when we ever trusted China to tell the truth about something. They just showing us the fake shit they making. Fuck out of here, nigga.
No, no, no,
They
no,
don't
no,
even
no,
make
no, no.
real meat.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that because
I'm telling you, I believe it.
I had already known that like Nikes are made in China,
Yeah, they're made in China, but they also make the bootlegs in China too.
but
So they just
a
showing
lot
us
of
the
the
bootleg
times
spot.
the bootlegs are coming from the same factory.
Yo, dog. It's not that bad yet where the dude that got the Nike contract or the ill Louis V contract is showing you where they make their stuff at. Like, they're not gonna show their hand. They're not gonna blow their bag just off of a couple of weeks off of bad press. Like, the people that front and center know that Americans are easily manipulated. They can just show us anything and we'll fall for like bullshit propaganda
You
from
gotta
them cats. Like, nah, yo, they
no.
just showing us their Canal
Let's
Street.
let's
Like,
forget
it's
about.
literally Canal Street. Everywhere we know to buy fake shit from is like around them.
I get it,
Yeah.
but let's not even go by them possibly lying or anything like that, right? Just do just business, right?
Right.
When you're producing clothing, you're
Mhm.
gonna go where you can get the cheapest labor.
No, you'll go to get the best quality labor for the cheapest price.
Okay, so
Yeah.
let's just say let's use a brand like Louis Vuitton,
Yeah.
right? And they say that they are French made. Everything is
Yes.
made in France.
Right.
So you telling me you could make a bag with premium leather, premium seamstress or in France
Mhm.
to put the bag together and still sell it for, let's just say, $1,000,
Yeah, why not?
because the markup on retail is about 1,000%.
No, that's their problem. I don't know. So they,
It
I
doesn't.
mean,
I'm sorry,
you still got to have
economically,
good.
it doesn't even make sense.
Well, if you look at a Louis V bag and you look at a Coach bag, you could tell the difference on it. So where, like, so you're saying like Louis
You
V
really
and Coach
can't,
are
though.
making? You can.
No, you can't.
Come on, bro. I'm telling you, you can. Like,
You
everything doesn't rub out as. I mean, I'm not a bad connoisseur, but like even like wallets and everything like that, you could tell the different quality of the leather, the stiffness, the if it fades or not. Like you see some people's bags, like they fade from like rubbing on stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Regular, real good leather
Mm.
over time is going to have some wear and tear.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, leather is the natural good. So
you got to think. All right, let's take this for example, right? Let's just say one of the most expensive Coach bags is like would be one of the cheaper Louis Vuitton bags.
Not even close. Maybe Gucci.
No. I'm making a point. I'm not asking you a question.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
And if on their higher end Coach bags, they're using, let's say they're using better than regular leather. Because I've seen Coach bags that are actually like better leather than
maybe
Louis
Gucci.
Vuitton.
Maybe leather. Gucci, not Louis, dog. Louis is the whole
another
level.
No.
Yo, dog. There's Coach, and then there's Gucci, and then there's Louis.
I've seen some Coach bags that are like real like quality leather. And I've seen some Gucci bags and I've seen some Louis Vuitton bags. Like their leather is not like some butter soft type of, you know what I mean?
I don't know.
I think more or less is marketing. And as the people got quality marketed enough to make people pay whatever they pay. Like when you see that print, you know what it is. And that's why you pay what you pay.
Than the print is the is the guarantee on it too. You could bring your things, you could bring your Louis Vuitton things back to any Louis Vuitton and have it refurbished or have it fixed. They stand behind the quality after you spend like a certain amount on a certain goods.
Mm-hmm.
You know, take it from someone too that has, tried to outsource their material making. When I had the clothing line, I was reaching out to people from different countries to try to get stuff done. And honestly, the quality was lackluster, and the communication is tough. Unless you're gonna go over there, boots on the ground, and actually like see what's going on. And a lot of people do. I think See a Collective, the black dude that owns the sneaker line, he actually went out there and he exposed it. That he was saying that those videos are cap. Like what you're seeing are the bootleg areas in those countries. Like those countries produce a lot of bootleg goods.
I'm not denying that.
But
what I'm saying is that there are brands that actually say made in China. It's a fact that Nikes are made in China.
You can just put that stamp on it, even if the bootleg is going to say that too. Though.
No. Okay. What I'm trying to say is that if real Nikes are made in China, what makes the difference between now you're trying, your argument is that they're not made, these other brands that are luxury are not made in China. They're made in France or they're made in Italy. So you're
saying that they're making the Louis bags in China and then just this is what okay, and this is how it goes for a lot of other products, right? Mm-hmm. It'll go that way for electronics, things like that. A lot of times luxury goods, right? So what China is saying is that 50% of their bags, like Louis Vuitton, is created and seamed and sold up in China. Then they send it to France to put all the bells and whistles and repackage it and make it. Now that makes it part of France. That's a big thing. And people that are watch people, what happens is like when you talking about the watch game and luxury watches, there are brands that will get movements from, let's say, I forgot what the movement is, but it's a movement that's owned by the Swatch company. I think it's the 28 something or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. It's the most regular automatic movement watch that you can get, the insides of a watch, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of watch brands will take that movement, which is probably like a $200, $300 movement. Mm-hmm. They'll craft the watch, create it, design it, or whatever like that, and they'll take that movement and put it inside the watch. Okay. A generic automatic movement. Okay. And then they'll charge people $10,000 for the watch. Okay. And they'll say it's Swiss made because it's coming from the Swatch company, which is a Swiss brand. So it's a Swiss movement.
It's a Swiss movement, right?
Correct.
But let's just say only the movement is made there, but everything else is created somewhere else.
Yeah, but if you're going to put titanium and everything on it, and you're going to seal it and make it death-proof for a certain amount, and you're going to make a limited edition, like if you're going to put the work into it after you put the movement around it, then that's what gives it the
No, it doesn't. The reason why Rolex charges what they charge is because they do in-house movements.
Okay.
They make their own movements.
Okay.
Vacheron Constantine, they make their own movements.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Patek Philippe, they make their own movements.
How about Richard Mille?
I think that I'm pretty sure they make their own movements.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the thing.
So
So you're saying like when you get like a Jacob,
yes,
they get a Swiss
I don't know.
Right.
We're talking. We're generally talking, right? But let's just say Jacob is an ill designer. He designs jewelry. He makes an ill watch, and he's like, all right, I need an automatic movement. So I'll get a 2824. I think it's a 2824 movement, which is owned by the Swatch Group, right?
Gotcha.
Which owns, they own Omega.
Okay.
They own a few luxury brands and a few, non-luxury brands. They own Swatch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right. But they'll take that movement and put it in his watch. But he got all the diamonds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Probably not super expensive diamonds, but he'll charge you $10,000-$20,000 for the watch, but it's a regular movement. Now, the reason why you would pay for a Rolex is because they make it at Rolex. Their movement, they don't outsource the movement.
Gotcha.
The inner workings of course, the if it's gold or platinum or something like that, you expect to pay more money for it. But the reason why you're paying $10,000 for a stainless steel watch is because the movement.
Gotcha.
And this is how they do it in the watch game, where it's like they'll say Swiss made, right? Because the majority or a good portion of the assembly of the watch is done in Switzerland, right? But more or less, all the other shit is done somewhere else. And this is what this is what China's saying about luxury goods. Like, we have the cheapest manufacturing and garments and things like that.
You
so
can get it started. We get
it started up over here, and they send it over there. They finish it up. They repackage it.
They're not exposing nothing, man. Like, it's all good. We kind of knew it already, and it's all good. Like, you can try to expose whatever, but you showing your hand, and you're just gonna hurt yourself at the end of the day. It's kind of an extension of what we were talking about last week with the patriotism, for a lack of patriotism. Like, we're falling for all their propaganda, whatever they selling us. Dog, I ain't buying it. I ain't trying to hear it. I'm good over here, man. We good over here.
Okay.
I ain't worried about it. I ain't worried about it, yo. It's good. Like, we're at war, and we're a part of war is propaganda. I ain't falling for it.
Yeah. A part of it is propaganda.
Yeah. I'm cool.
But the thing is, we're a nation of consumers. So initially we were talking about, supporting brands. That's why it's like, all right, well, do I have to buy a Gucci? Do I have to buy Louis Vuitton? Do I have to, I think we should, as we could support our creatives.
My thing is that I'm all for supporting creatives. I'm a creative. I've put things out there to be. First of all, I hated the word support. Support means you're just buying it because you're trying to help me. I wanted you to buy my goods because you thought they were fly. So support, me and my peoples always bumped heads on that word. Support always seemed like a handout. Another thing is that I always gotta let niggas know I can get fly, or else it don't matter if I'm wearing your shit, because it's like I'm not fly. You know what I mean? So I gotta wear a little bit of everything to let niggas know that I get fresh, so that when I do wear your stuff, it's like it kind of means something. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where I look at it. Like, I like to dibble or dabble. I'll wear pieces from different people, but I like to go out and get like a little piece and put something together, get my basics together, and I put a hat and everything else. And I grab stuff, but support, I hate that word, yo. I don't want to support nobody. If I like somebody, I want to like what I'm buying.
I get it, but sometimes there is an unfair advantage because that other brand has already invested millions of dollars in, or society has already indoctrinated people to buy that particular product, right?
Okay.
Who's to say that let's just say a Cigars and Whiskey T-shirt or hoodie is just not as good. Is not isn't as good as a say an Essentials hoodie. You
Well,
understand
if the font doesn't speak to you, if the fit's not right for you, if it doesn't speak to you, then maybe it's not for you. You know,
no,
that's the way I look at it. You know, that's the way I look at it. I look at it like, you know, we try to switch it up every year. We try to give them something new, put thought into it, and yeah, man.
But
if
you got you have to understand, even though you could do all that and the person could genuinely like the product, but you're competing against, let's say, all right, this is Gucci or this is this, and that's that. You understand what I'm saying?
But we're not making Gucci clothes. We're making essentials. We're making clothes that, you know, you're gonna. I feel like the average street wear maker, like we're making clothes for like running, you know, Saturday morning, Friday nights, hanging with your boys and all that. If you're gonna go get like, I don't think you're gonna go to the club in a Cigars or hoodie.
You're not gonna go to no club in no hoodie.
You could go to a club in a Givenchy hoodie.
Oh, you go okay, all right.
You know what I mean? If you wear like an ill, you can get some shit.
That's the shit that I'm talking about, where it's like a name, right? It's like, oh, I know such and such. All right, you can get in now, right? If I have a shout out to Bandit Wear, right? If I got a Bandit Wear hoodie on, can I get in the club? But you can't wear that. You gotta wear, you got to dress a little casual. But if I come in with a Givenchy hoodie, they'll let me get in because it's quote unquote designer.
That's the game, yo. That's the game we in, man.
It's fickle, the game, but it's
vain, it's fickle,
very vain, very in it. And like the thing is, I'm a guy that I don't mind paying for quality, but I'm not just paying for a name, right?
Gotcha.
So if let's just say I pick up a shout out to I pick up a Bandit Wear joint, but the quality is good. He makes good quality clothing. Absolutely. You understand what I'm saying? But in Givenchy, it's like, all right, yo, this is the same quality hoodie as, you know what I mean?
Right.
But it's fucking 10 times more, 20 times more, right? But the quality is the same, and it just got the name on it.
It's the name of the game, man. You know where we at? Like,
yo,
you can't fight.
I guess I give him credit. I gotta, as a guy that supports free enterprise, I gotta just, be like, yo, that's the game. You know what I mean?
It's the game, yo. You gotta accept it.
I think with that, we should probably go into that Wallow clip. We didn't really start the show.
Yeah,
right?
No, start the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can intro the show.
All right, intro the show. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Welcome to another episode of Cigars and Whiskey, the podcast that discusses love, relationships, sex, dating from a male's perspective. I'm your guy, Ron Coe. I'm joined by my guy, White Star GB.
We're shaking.
Corey Cool.
Yo.
Shout out to everyone tuned in on YouTube. Please remember to share so we can get more people to tap into the conversation. We have a great show for you guys tonight. Tonight, we are talking about grieving over the loss of no relationship, no children, right? Also, we're drinking Redbreast, single pot still Irish whiskey, aged 12 years. All right. We've already pretty much jumped into the show.
Yeah, man.
But let's just hop right into it. Jump into the clip. This is a clip. We were just talking about black businesses and supporting local and also, the designers that we know. He actually was at, I'm not sure if it was a conference or anything like that. It was a
conference, yeah.
Okay. And he was talking to the attendees about supporting black businesses and how it shouldn't be about me supporting you based on you being a black business. It should be based on you having a good business. All right. So let's jump right into it.
I'm black. No black people. Nobody gives a fuck about that. Kill that shit. Either you got a good business or you don't. All that shit, don't nobody want to hear that shit. That's a hustle. Support me because I got a black business. Is your restaurant clean? Is the food good? Do you got consistent cooks? Is the material of your shit good? Stop doing that. Oh, you support the white people? No, I support consistency, baby.
Yeah.
Well, fuck about what color you is. I'm gonna spend my money. That paper, I'm gonna spend them deals where the fuck I want to spend it at. Whether it's Porsche, Ferrari, I'm gonna do what the fuck I want to do while I'm here. But I'm gonna tell you one thing, I ain't gonna be finessed off some black shit. But one thing about it, 70% of you motherfuckers is not going to make it. I'm not no motherfucking fake ass motivational speaker that talk this dumb shit. I'm the #1 nigga in the country. You know why? Y'all seen me come out of the penitentiary. I make millions and I make millionaires, baby. You understand me? I come from
Yeah, man. Good message. Good message, especially to who he was speaking to. He was speaking to a group of entrepreneurs, almost to like at a conference, and he's telling them like, "Yo, listen, man, the Black Lives Matter movement is over. Like the support, the black business, just people rocking with you because you're black. Those days are kind of numbered, yo. People are gonna spend their money." Bringing it back full circle to what we were talking about earlier with China and everything like that, and with the tariffs and everything like that, prices are going to go up on certain goods. So people are going to be more frugal, and they're going to think more about where they're spending their money. They're going to pick their spots more. So they're going to go for the quality spot. They're not just going to go somewhere because it's black owned. They're going to go somewhere because it's good. And I think he's telling people to adjust your margins, adjust your strategy. If you've been relying on the black card, you should probably be cleaning up your act now to,
I don't
step it up a little bit.
I hear what you're saying. I hear what he's saying, but other communities do it.
Yeah.
They support a business, a brand, because it is, there's a kinship there.
What's wrong with those that? Communities are usually brainwashed by religion.
Maybe not all the time.
Usually.
Maybe not all the time.
All right.
All right. Let's just say
the black community's not. They're not forced into something because they all go to the same place.
Okay. Why are you calling? All right. Now, I would never tell a person to support a brand or a business that doesn't benefit them anyway, where it's like they're not getting the level of service, they're not getting the quality of product, right? But if there is a product or service that's comparable to another brand or another business that's not black, why not give that person the business? Because
if it's comparable, then if it's comparable, if the customer service is there and the service is there and the product is the same thing, then why not? Yeah. But if you're gonna, get like a lesser product or the customer service isn't on par,
what if it costs?
And I feel like
what
that's
if it
all
costs a little bit more money?
Why would it cost a little bit more money? Because I feel like that's another thing that people do, is that they price gouge their own community too.
I don't think so. I think that as specifically a black community, we don't have connections or resources when it comes down to importing, exporting. So let's just say there's a African-American woman that starts a beauty supply store. We know that a lot of that product is coming from China
or India,
but a lot of hair comes from India, but as far as like the product
right,
comes from China.
Got you.
And majority of the time they own the stores. And I've heard about situations where black owners have been kind of pushed back to the wall of like, like we're going to run you out of business. Like we're going to make sure you're not able to get your product at a reasonable price so you can sustain your business, because we're trying to put you out of business, because they control the importing the importing of those goods.
Well, then you're in the wrong industry. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, if it's that fickle, if you in the game, then that industry is just, I don't know. Those things need to be exposed more, and it needs to be examined more on a bigger level. Because if we're talking about an industry where Black people spend all their money out and they're being blackballed in making money into it, why isn't it like a big deal? Like, why aren't people fighting back more? Why aren't people looking for other options or looking for other suppliers?
Because honestly, I feel like it's not a lot. Certain businesses that there's a few different issues going on as far as like Black businesses are concerned. I think Black people.
Let me cut you off for 1 second. Kanye said a lot of foul things, right? But one thing that he did say, which was foul, but what resonated with me, and I looked at it like in a separate way, was slavery is a choice.
Okay.
Slavery was not a choice in America during the whole chattel slavery, but I feel like slavery today is a choice. If you want to be a slave to a brand or a corporation or industry, it's completely on you.
Okay.
You could break away from those things, and you could pivot, and you could do whatever you want to do. We live in a free society, capitalistic society. You're free to pivot, and we are free to boycott certain things. If you bring a light to these issues, I feel like people would fight back a little bit more.
But what's the resolve though? Like, what's really the resolve? Like, because if we boycott, but we don't have a infrastructure to start, a new version of whatever we're boycotting, it's like,
you got to make it here. There are plenty of people who make their products naturally here. Like, there's nobody who knows their own hair like their own people. You can make it from here. You can make it here. So if people are, going with a more natural look, or with more, even with like wigs, like, yo, you gotta, I don't know, man. If you want to be stuck in that cycle of that whole thing, and you're stuck in that, it's on you.
All right.
I don't got no patience for that. Like, I'm not a victim. Like, I'm not a victim. Like, it's like people like looking to be victims. Like, people are looking to be, woe is me, or the man is out to get me. You got. I don't
think it's like that. I think like saying that my business is a Black-owned business is sort of like one of the selling points. To some people, it's a selling point, right?
It's cool.
Some people would like to support a Black business, right? And some people,
it should be second nature, yo. It should be second nature. First of all, you should rock with people that are in your vicinity. I have a Black plumber, a Black handyman, Black electrician. I bought my house from a Black realtor. Like, it should be easy.
Yeah, but there's certain instances I don't think you do everything Black.
Mostly.
What about the grocery store?
There are no Black grocery stores.
What about like the wife's beauty supply for your daughter or something like that? You know what I mean?
Like, call her. I don't know what she buy, but Amazon. I don't know. But I don't got my hands in that.
Either way, like,
maybe the dude that drop it off is Black, but I don't know.
But all right,
for convenience on that.
Based on the clip, right?
Just be great. But go ahead.
Of course. I think that kind of goes without saying. But like, we have to understand, and I'm not trying to give any type of like excuse, but like, we're working at a disadvantage, and I think
why
we need to know that.
Why are we working?
Because we don't have the infrastructure to kind of like export our own goods. We're at a disadvantage in so many different ways, right? So you saying when I initially said that other communities do it, you say, oh, they're linked by religion. All right, well, Either way,
And culture, religion, and culture.
All right, but we have culture, right? Do we have culture or no?
Not really, because black people, like, we all look the same, but we're not from the same place.
Okay.
Like, black people don't have the same culture. We don't have a shared language that we just speak to ourselves. Black people are truly a monolith, like same way white people are. Just because white people are white don't mean they're all from the same place, you know. So we don't really have that, you know. Some people are binded by religion. Some people go somewhere because those people there speak their language. Some people go there because all the signs are in their language there, and they go there, or they could get stuff from their home country there. So they go there. You know what I mean? We don't, as black people, we don't have that. We just have the struggle, and I feel like a lot of people exploited the black owned thing. The Black Lives Matter, everything like that. It was a nice money grab, but I think Wallow's telling people that, yo, it's kind of over. Now you got to stand on your merit. You got to stand on your own too. And now your product is gonna be what speaks for you.
Yeah, I the thing is, I don't agree with the fact that, like, he's given the impression that black businesses, black products are subpar or substandard.
I didn't get that from that.
So why are you saying that? Why even make that statement? You understand what I'm saying? Like,
because it has been a statement and people have leaned on that. He's not saying that it's subpar. He's just saying that, yo, that run is over. Let's pivot to something else and let's lean on the quality. Because it was a little money grab at the same way that Made in the USA was like a little money grab for like a little while. We don't see anything made in the USA anymore. But like 10 years ago, Made in the USA meant a little something, right? When you would go, we don't see anything made in the USA anymore. That had its run. He's just saying that, yo, that run is kind of over. The pockets are gonna get tighter in the black community. Let's give our consumers our best foot. Like, let's give them our best product. And that's a safe message.
But what I'm saying is, who's saying they weren't already doing that? It lends to
he just driving it home. He just driving it home. It lends
no one's saying that he wasn't. It lends to. All right, let's be honest. Let's just be straight up about what the impression is, or what the idea of black businesses, black services, black products is. That, oh, I just had one of my friends talk about hiring a black plumber.
Right.
And he said the dude, oh, he didn't know what he was doing, and he called me and I fixed the shit myself, or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? And it's like, all right, now the idea is that, yo, you can't hire somebody black because they're not professional. They don't know what they're doing. They're not certified, whatever, right? You go to a black store, oh, they charge you more money, or the service, they got an attitude, whatever. You understand what I'm saying? And he's kind of driving home a narrative that's already out there, or a sort of like a stereotype that may or may not be true. You understand what I'm saying? So it's this idea out there, and he's kind of like affirming it in a sense, right? So, like, all right, you can't just get by on me, like, you giving me subpar products and service. You can't just say it's black owned and get it, right? Because I know a lot of other black businesses that, you know, they do some pretty good business or whatever that I support.
Absolutely.
But he's making it as if that's the case, right? The cream is always going to rise to the top, whether you're black, white, whatever. Right. And I get what he's saying, but I think there should be a level of that, because I know there are great black businesses out there that don't get exposure like other businesses because they don't have the dollars to market and promote, or they don't have that brand that's been around for 15, 20, 30, 45, 50 years. You know what I mean? So everybody doesn't know about them. Everybody doesn't go give their business to them. But if they if they knew, maybe they would. So if you go to like a Jewish community, Abraham starts a new restaurant, everybody may be going there. Or if you go to a restaurant that the owners are, let's say, Muslim. I went to a restaurant around Ramadan, and it was the time, and then after they come in, they're able to eat, right? And it seemed like the Muslims were getting preferential treatment because they were going through Ramadan and the fast was over and they were getting seating or whatever. Like it was mad people waiting, right?
Right.
And
what made you go in there though?
It's a great restaurant.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
What you get from in there?
It's seafood.
Oh, seafood. Okay.
Yeah, seafood. So, but those they support each other, right? What's wrong with people supporting each other, whether it be religion, whether it be race or whatever? You understand what I'm saying? Now, if you're not good, you're not going to continue to get business. That's just the law of business and nature. You know what I mean? If you're not good, you're not going to be able to go forward.
Gotcha.
Right? But a lot of businesses that are, let's say, black owned, they don't even get the first shot, or they don't get a fair shot. So why not? Why shouldn't we be able to use that? That's all I'm saying.
I got you. I'll let you get the final word on this. You got it. I don't see nothing wrong with it.
All right, you don't see nothing wrong with it. I just don't feel like it really had any place in the conversation. Really, like as much as he said it, like I get what you're saying, but I don't see a world.
Forward,
I don't see a world where there's a bunch of shoddy black businesses that are just getting over because they saying they black owned. Okay. I don't even feel like that even makes a difference these days. That's kind of second nature to me, in a sense. Me and my family, like we don't go. A lot of times we don't say specifically like, "Oh, this is a black owned business. Let's go here." If we go there and it's like it's good, and it's like, "Oh, it's a black person that owns this." All right, cool. Very rarely do we like say, "Yo, we're only supporting these," because we support small businesses in general. Some are Hispanic, some are Indian, some are whatever. You know what I mean? And I would hope to find other black small businesses that are local or whatever that I could actually support. But I don't see a lot of shoddy businesses out there. And that's it. Because honestly, I'm gonna say this last thing, right? A lot of businesses that we're talking about, where their service industry or whatever, they're not sexy enough for black people. You know what I mean? Like, other than a restaurant and maybe a clothing line, maybe. Black people don't want to do, like, when it comes down to labor jobs or service jobs or anything like that, a lot of times they don't really want to do it.
Nah, you're kicking Blackie back in. All right. It's a whole nother conversation there. All right, Wallow. You sound like Wallow now.
How I sound like Wallow?
You talking about black people don't want to work?
No, I'm just saying certain things that they don't do, they don't want to do.
I hear you.
You know what I mean? Like,
I ain't going there with you.
All right.
I ain't messing with you.
All right. So where we at?
Joke, but I can't say it. So I was like,
why? Why you can't say it?
Nah, because Tyrone got to cut it out. I'm making too much work for Tyrone. Yeah. shout out to Tyrone. Yeah. You know it's gotta be bad if I don't want to say it.
Well, before we go, let me just, everybody out there in the comment section, do you support black businesses? And what's your impression on black businesses? Are black businesses, do they give subpar service? Do they give shoddy products? Yeah, I want to get your impression, because I really don't think so.
I personally love black businesses. Shout out to,
it seems like black shit is premium stuff.
Yeah, shout out to Angie Soul Food, Angie Soul House. You know, shout out to them. Shout out to, you know, all my black people out there doing their thing.
Yeah, shout out
doing good business.
Yeah.
Yo, I had something, man. Just I don't know. We probably spoken about it, but yo, why does it feel so weird when someone come to my door? Have we spoken about it on the podcast?
Not on the podcast.
And today,
yo, it feels so weird. And I got like the video thing. Yo, I won't even talk to them. I just watch them. I'm like, yo, fam, like, why are you here? Like, you got the little tag on.
I got to chime in here. Let me chime in here.
Come on, cool.
I want to say, yo, listen, you solar people are out of line.
What is happening? Like, why?
You solar
Why are you
panel
here?
niggas are out of line. Today, first of all, one set of people came to my door. I had to go get my son from daycare. It was a white guy, Indian lady, let's just say. And they was really holding me up like big time. And I was polite, but I wanted to get out of it. And right. And I managed to swivel my way out. But today, two young black kids show up at my door.
Selling solar?
Trying to pitch solar to me. And I want to apologize to these young brothers because my patience was at a zero.
It makes no sense.
A huge zero. And it was like they didn't get the hint right away. The first thing I said, listen, some guys just came to me with, this same spiel. You remember the company name? Listen, brother. Like from there, it was like, okay, I need you to go. Then it was like, all right, I'm gonna.
Yo, cool. They're not even wearing a uniform though. They just got
the
regular
lanyard.
clothes.
They got the lanyard.
I'm
Why are
like,
you trying to shit on black people?
nah,
bro?
No,
I'm
both
talking
of them
about
do.
anybody.
Both of them did.
Nobody's wearing uniforms. They all is wearing street clothes, and it's like we've been trained to see people try to break into your house.
It's out of
doing
line.
weird
But
shit.
this
Like,
is
it's
what
like-
I didn't realize, GB, and what you just said. I do have the ring with the microphone. I am now going to officially utilize that. I'm not used to things like that. I'm not used to like having like a microphone. I could like talk to somebody on the front thing. I feel like that's a little impersonal, but I promise you, I am going to just strictly talk through the thing because they were like, and they weren't getting a hint. I was like, bro, like, I got the whole spiel. Yeah, but did they tell you this? It's the same shit, homie.
Yeah.
Like,
they ring my doorbell. They going to the drive-through at Wendy's. Yo, you want a 4 for 4? Can I take your order? Like, yo, what's up? Like, yo, I'm talking to you through the camera. Like, what do you want?
From
Yo,
now
I'll be right
on,
in the back room watching them. I'll be in the window watching them talking. Me and my dog be looking at them like, yo,
oh, that's a wrap.
what's happening? Why are you here? It's like, I don't know. I thought it was just me, but I don't know.
Because you know what? The truth is
wave
this.
of anxiety when someone rings my bell.
The truth
Yeah.
is
and
this.
I'm not expecting them.
If you okay, let's just say this. If you are selling something, all right, first of all, really going door to door is kind of like a bad idea in general. The people
Old,
who
antiquated.
the people who are siding and
It works.
Windows.
It works,
Does not work.
I do think that the pitch, just for timing purposes, I think the pitch could be a lot different. Number one, they have no materials to give. So there's no business card. They have no business cards, no pamphlets, nothing. They just show
uniform,
they
no
just
nothing,
showing
no
up.
truck.
It should
No,
simply
it's just
have been like this. He rang my bell. When I answered, hey, I noticed you guys, didn't have any solar panels. Think you're interested? Right there. Yes, no.
keep it moving.
If a person says no, hey, listen, let me just leave this with you, man. Hey, if you change your mind, hit me up to the next trip.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Right. But I think if it's because out of this, you're going to get a few people that are willing to talk. You got to know the people. You got to know the people who are not willing to engage.
You never done high pressure sales. So
well, I worked in a sneaker store before. they're coming to buy stuff. It's the upsell. I had to try to sell socks.
All right,
and sneakers. And shoelaces.
Those are warm sales, right? Those are what you call in sales. You call those warm sales because they came to buy something.
I tried to sell Obama phones one time. I didn't last very long.
Jeez.
So when you're cold selling somebody, they don't know you from a bar of soap, and you got to get them on the phone. You got to speak to them face to face. That's very difficult. And like you have to assume. We always assume, like as a broker, we always assume that you're going to get rebutted from the first close.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to say no.
Mm-hmm.
You know they're going. You assume they're going to say no. You're surprised when they do say yes.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? So you've already got like a good 4, 5, 7 reps ready that if they say no to the first objection, they object, then you got a rebuttal, then you go into the next rap. Then you go to the next, then you go to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're probably already set up to be there for a good 15, 20 minutes before you give up, right? And
giving up.
because
How does
they
it
don't
make,
know you.
What,
They don't know
what's
you
the
from
mental of that person? Like, it's like you're bothering me.
Yeah, they
doesn't.
know that they're
You are
bothered. You're
bothering me,
bothered.
like,
Trust
you're showing up to the
trust and
door.
believe, right?
Yeah.
If they're selling you, let's say,
Solar,
solar or
Verizon. I already got Verizon, but you're like here. Like, how you don't know that I already got this shit? Like,
Yeah.
why are you here?
you got to think about it. For them, it may be a salary plus a $250 commission if they land you, or for a siding or a solar, that could be like $1,000 commission or something like that. You know what I mean? So it's like, bro, if I pre-qualify or I qualify 5 people, that's possibly 5,000 for me.
All right,
So
but
these are still good jobs. That's what I was really going to do a PSA to whoever's watching this while they're filling out the application to walk around to bother niggas to stop doing it. But you're saying that this job is worth.
Well, no, I think there's better sales jobs. Like,
Okay,
all right, stocks, I feel like is better than doing face to face. Like, it's
Yeah.
over the phone,
all
but
right.
also like, but there's certain sales jobs that require a lot more.
Yeah,
Like pharmaceutical sales.
yeah.
Shit.
Oh,
You go to a doctor's office, they give doctors incentive to use certain medications and things like that or whatever. And they give patients incentives and rebates and things like that to, and you selling those, and y'all pretty much moving legal drugs in a sense, right? And it's like they get paid great money.
But Ron,
You know what I mean?
what I'm saying is this though. I hear you. I hear you loud and clear. But what I'm saying is, what has to suck is spending that 20 minutes to get a no. That sucks.
So that's why you have to have a certain mentality to be in that line of business.
That's what I'm saying. My mentality would be, if you even open the door. Okay, first of all, okay, listen, it's 2025.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have solar, okay, there's a great chance that you don't want it. Straight like that. I don't want it. I don't need it. I don't. Yeah, it's just too much. So it should be first of all, have can I come do a survey or an appointment? Listen, as simple as this. Hey, listen, I realized, a couple of your side was off, you think you're interested in one day, maybe try to fix that. Now listen, hey, the person goes yay or nay. If they go no, you know what, man, I totally understand. Listen, let me just leave this with you.
Yeah, you say
hit me.
But
think about it. Think about how
I could keep you right now, not even just knowing the product. I could probably keep you going for a good 5-10 minutes.
Why?
Because it's like, oh, I ain't got the bread. All right, we got financing.
But why?
We got 60 months, 72 months. We got 10 years. We can finance that.
And credit ain't shit.
But why?
We qualified people 450 credit score.
But that's when
I'm not gonna pay you.
Ron, but that's when you're harassing people.
Let's worry about that later on. You never know. If you like the product, you might pay for it.
I ain't gonna pay for it.
Right? You see how I could rebut right after and keep going?
Right.
Like,
but that's where you're harassing people.
No, all right. You call it harassing.
That's harassing people.
You got to understand, like, there are guys that are sales guys, and they make hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, depending on what they're selling, because they don't accept no for an answer.
Coffees for closers.
Always be closing, and these particular guys, like, their mentality is like next up, right? Let's just say you go to the mall and you bagging chicks or whatever. The chick tell you no. All right, I'm not sitting there sulking over the last
wait,
chick that I spent time trying to bag.
But wait,
I'm
Ron,
going to the next.
I'm glad you brought that. I'm glad you brought that up, because you walk up to a chick and you go, "Hey, what's going on?" She goes, "I got a man," right up the front, right? All right, you might give her. Well, I'm saying, like, where do you go from there?
You go from there. You was like, no,
what your man got to do with me?
No,
but wait, but look,
let's just say.
I knew you were gonna say that, though. I knew you were gonna say that.
No, I would say
that's harassing.
You got I was telling you got toilet paper on your shoe, right? We both laugh.
Bullshit.
I got you, right? Then the conversation restarts now. Okay.
That's bullshit.
You shitty butt.
What, you just came out the bathroom? I see. Did she start laughing? I start laughing. All right. So you got a man or whatever. All right, I'm not for that or whatever like that. Rebuttal.
My point is, with girls,
try to reclose. You get rebutted again. You give it, you get objected again, then you give a rebuttal, you go back again.
Bro, with the ladies, I'm not, after one rebuttal, I'm moving on. I'm not gonna sit there and try to swindle you into giving me your information. No, it's not like that. Yo, Shorty, what's up?
Swindle territory.
If she like, nah, I'm with somebody,
all right,
I'm
no,
off.
No.
I'm off. Moving on.
As a guy that did sales or whatever, don't we're not gonna call it a swindle, right? Right. A lot of the times, you got people that don't necessarily, they don't know about the product. Some people don't know about the product. They don't know about solar. They don't know that. You know what I mean? Some people don't know about the convenience or the benefits of having it.
You
right?
can hear him giving a speech to like 20 dudes in hard bottom shoes.
Oh yeah, I can do it.
20 miles.
I can do it. Yeah. Yes.
Young Jordan.
Some people don't know about it. Some people don't know it's affordable. Some people don't know all the benefits that you get from it. The tax benefits, this, that, and the third.
Fuck all that. Let's give give them the magic pill. What are the words to say to those people who come to your door to make them leave automatically?
Yeah, I need that.
There is a magic pill. What are those words? I know that the notion.
I'm deaf. What about if I'm deaf?
And I know. Yeah.
What if you say I'm deaf? Yeah, like yo,
I
got nothing.
Honestly, I would say don't answer the door.
Don't answer the door.
Yeah, because
treat them like Jehovah's Witnesses.
you're gonna have some guys that are actually, oh, you're not interested? All right. Because you got people, you ever been on the phone and somebody call you as a telemarketer and they just hang up the phone? That's a person that's just trying to get paid by the hour. They don't really they're not trying to close on sales. They like you pick up the phone like, hello? And they be like, hello, you hear the noise in the background and the phone hangs up. They just they're getting their quota.
Yeah, I just pick up. I don't say anything. I just pick up and leave it silent.
You got people that are the chances are is if you get a guy that's a real sales guy, he's going to either get a sale or he's going to take up 20 minutes of your time, 15, 20 minutes of your time. So don't answer the phone. Right? So don't answer the phone. Don't answer the door.
Don't answer the door. Okay.
I'm going right
through
no
soliciting side of work.
It should work.
All right.
I would take.
Oh no, soliciting sign.
That sign would look nasty.
It looks very commercial.
I don't like the way that shit look. You know what I mean? I don't want to put that on my house, yo.
You got a comment. What's this comment say? I'm you. What does it say? Acts 16:31. So they said, believe on the Lord Jesus Christ, and you will be saved.
You got us.
You and your household.
You got us. I see you tomorrow morning. I see you in a couple of hours, buddy.
Yeah, you got me. You coming?
Yeah, that's it, man. I just watch him. I be in the back room watching him. Like I don't pick up the phone.
What do you do, Ron? When they come to your door, you talk to them?
It's crazy because it's like
Ron trying to send some shit back.
No. No. I'm so used to sales that I try to give everybody a fair shot. If I do come to the door, which is bad, which is very, very bad.
It's terrible. I try to.
We literally will hide, like we'll close, like don't get out the window. Don't answer the door. Be quiet. Like, so they just go away.
They're holding us hostage in our own houses. Yo, it was this dude. I'm mowing the lawn. Chinese dude in the minivan pull up on the side selling socks and gloves. I'm like, y'all niggas still do this? Like, what is happening on my street right now? People are just going back to hand sales and they just being like, yo, guerrilla marketing. Because I feel like we had a reprieve for a little while. We had a break.
Yeah.
It was like a little break, but all of a sudden they going back to the street team era. And they just hitting the block. And I'm like, yo, fam, this is a bad job. But you're saying maybe it's not.
No, I'm not talking about selling socks.
No, I'm not talking about socks and like gloves.
It's better shit that you can sell.
No, but I'm saying like the solar guy and the Verizon guy, that's a good job in 2025. I came here to tell people stop applying for those jobs. No, you're saying that.
No. I'm not saying that.
All right.
I'm saying that like them solar guys, they're probably on commission.
Okay.
Right. So they may get a certain amount of money for a lead.
Okay.
And if a deal closes, they might get a decent commission.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Now, of course, if you're not like a specialized profession, sales guys make a lot of money, bro. a lot of money, right?
Okay, but can I interrupt you? Sales used to come around in a uniform or a suit.
Yeah.
I remember even like the Kirby salesman, the dude, like my mom bought a vacuum cleaner from a dude that rang our doorbell once, but he came in a suit. He came plugged in the vacuum. He showed us the whole spiel and everything like that. We all sat in the living room like, yo, this is the best vacuum ever. You know what I mean? But these dudes is coming in polos and jeans and sneakers, and it's like, yo, you come in, you're not really looking the par.
Yeah. And that I think that determines, that shows you what the product that they're selling, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you probably look at a guy that's doing solar, or a guy that's doing, at least Verizon will have a tag or something like that. Whatever.
A tag, you can make a tag at Staples, bro.
Yeah.
Like I'm in my door, I'm sizing you up. Like I'm like, the whole time I'm not comfortable with you being there.
Like
I'm in
a
house shoes and I'm sizing
pharmaceuticals
you up.
rep.
You're gonna rush into my house.
Like a pharmaceuticals rep.
Yeah.
They'll probably be suited up, booted up,
Yeah.
and looking the part.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because they get paid. They make hundreds of thousands, and they're up there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just depends on what you sell. Like a broker, a lot of brokers, like if you meet them face to face, they're gonna look the part. Because if they sell you something, they're making tens of thousands
if you're
off
ringing
of
someone's
sales.
doorbell, and you're not a contractor, you should be dressed for the job. That's it. I'm gonna leave it there.
I get it. All right. So we're going to Tracy Ellis Ross. She just had an interview with Michelle Obama. I didn't know she even had a podcast.
Yeah, I didn't know either. Oh, brother look just like her.
He does. And it's like, the first thing I thought about is like, it wasn't like he wanted to do it, and it's like,
give him a little bag.
Yeah. Let me jump on this for him or something like that. And like, is he like I don't know. He could be accomplished or whatever, but he looks like, all right.
I feel like
sis, help me out. Get on this, because
I looked at it the other way. I looked at maybe that he's her security blanket, like Linus, like, you know what I mean? Like maybe she feels comfortable doing it if she did it with him. That's the way I saw it. But
yeah, it didn't. I don't know. I feel like when people are looked up like on a pedestal, when they do regular shit, like do a podcast, it makes them look very regular. Yeah, you know what I mean? So it's like, all right,
right,
she's the first lady. She's a former first lady, and she's doing a podcast.
Yeah.
Like, okay. It's very
my biggest take
common
is
of her.
Like how opinionated she wasn't. We'll watch the clips, but she was just humming and yes, and it was just wasn't like she didn't have no 2 cents on it. But
yeah, she was very diplomatic.
Yeah, we can watch the first clip though.
Yeah, the first clip. Which one? About children?
Yeah,
children. All right. So we're gonna go with this one or this one. That one. Yep, that one. Let's go with that one right there.
Grief does surface for me around not having children and not having a partner. I still wouldn't want the wrong partner.
That's a great point for people to hear.
I'm not interested in that. You have to make my life better. It can't just be, I'm in a relationship to be in a relationship. So even though the grief does emerge and that comes and I hold that, I think of what I've done, and I think of, I woke up every morning trying to do my best. I didn't wake up one morning and be like, I'm going to mess this day up.
That's right.
So I must be where I'm supposed to be. And I don't know. Sometimes I think of all of the things I've done, the courage that I've had to have, and what I've had to learn how to navigate as a single person with no one to hide behind.
Yeah.
It's built a really beautiful experience around me. And
Cor, can you do me a favor? Can you cut off all those other tabs? What? Why are you laughing?
The incredible friend part was money. Do you think it's harder being a single person or being in a relationship with kids?
I think it's easier to be a single person.
I mean, you gotta do everything on your own, all right? I mean,
What?
it's just you though.
What?
Like, you're the enterprise, like.
What you got to do? Like
I
you got to
know.
just take care of yourself.
Feed yourself, entertain yourself.
Like, is that too difficult?
Jerk
Like,
yourself off. I don't know.
Like,
What else you gotta do?
Like, yeah, it's. I think it's way easier to be a single person than to be a person in a relationship with a family.
Right, but I'm sure for her, there's no shortage of takers.
What do you mean?
I'm sure there's no shortage of people taking jump shots.
But she's turning 53 this year.
Yeah, so it could be.
Really? That's it?
Yeah.
I mean,
mean,
she was older. Than
I'm sure there's a lot of
Taking
40.
jump shots though, like aren't like
A lot of
wouldn't you be
40,
tired at this age of
45.
niggas trying to smash.
No, but I mean, even listen, I'm sure if you can take a man between the ages of, let's say 40, maybe they might, 40 to her age, that would get with her to be with her and deal with her. Easy.
Deal with her. Like,
No, like get in a relationship with her. And I'm willing to say younger, but I mean, for argument's sake, let's go 40. Like, men who maybe have been through a relationship or whatever, been with somebody or divorced or whatever the case was, but from the ages of 40 to her
listen, I'm
exact age,
45.
listen, from 40 to her age to probably the year a couple older, that'll absolutely get in a relationship with her. It might not be right for her, but I'm pretty sure there's millions of takers. Millions.
This is how I feel. Like if you're 53 years old,
Mm-hmm. And she's in Hollywood.
you have to like. I can't see.
Baby girl. I hate y'all niggas for me.
There you go.
I can't see. Like, I would have. I hate to say this, but I would have to say that if you're not in a relationship, you're single and you are childless, it has to be more of a you thing than everybody else.
Of
Right?
Of course.
And I think what people are going to say when they look at this interview, it's like, oh, well, she's Tracy Ellis Ross. She did this TV show, she did this movie, and she did so much things in acting, right? But it's like
Diana Ross's
okay.
child.
Yeah. I'm talking about what she did on her, for herself, right?
Mhm.
But I like legacy, right? So you have like, all right, maybe people will be like, yo, great girlfriends, like maybe 50 years from now, they'll be like, Girlfriends was one of the greatest sitcoms, right?
Mhm.
I don't know none of the women on Golden Girls. You understand what I'm saying? So, like, one of the best things that we could do, right, as people, especially as regular people, is that we leave a legacy. We add something to the world, and normally, what we add to the world is we leave the world our children and our legacy, right?
Our sex trophies.
And I'm not
I'm
saying
gonna go home and call
like,
both
like,
of my kids sex trophies when I get married.
So everybody is not able to do that, but I think if you have the capacity to do that, and if you don't, I think it's kind of selfish. Like
Well,
that's only if you don't have the capacity. If you have the capacity to do it and you don't want to, you like,
But own it. I respect people who own it. I recently heard a interview. It wasn't a whole interview. It was an Instagram clip. I'm trying to sound like I watched the whole thing of this. But she said she was a single woman, said she's not interested in having kids because, yes, I'm selfish. My life right now. No. It's another person. My life is about me. She said, if I have a child, I would have to make my life about that child. And I like my life being about me.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I completely respected it.
But even in that situation,
just own it.
Yo, bro.
The word that she used a lot was grieving. Grieving is such a strong word. Like, it's such a, what are you grieving? It felt like you wanted this. Like, like you 53. You didn't work at doing this. You could have done these things by accident. How many people have you met?
I think grieving is like longer term sadness.
Right.
right? But
Yes.
this is something that she has to live with. She can't really like she's past the point of being able to have a child at this point.
I mean, unless you got them joints frozen, she might have a little couple of Diana Ross popsicles in the
Okay. Well, let's just say like, all right, I'll correct it.
I'm coming out.
You know, having children on her own is not really an option at this point, right? And she kind of missed the boat in a sense,
right? So that's where the grief comes from.
Yeah, and usually grief is kind of attached to regret sometimes, and I think if there's regret, it's because it was a decision that she made, right?
Gotcha.
Right? Like, I think like there are a lot of women out there that have had relationships and had children that have failed, but they don't regret the relationship or the result of the relationship, which might have been a child.
They lean into their children and they raise their children and then they move on with their lives and then they come on the back end.
There's a lot of women that
like
can't.
She's done great work, like you said, girlfriend. Shout out to the new season of Black Mirror. She's on the first episode. Great episode. Like I've literally just watched an hour of her work, and she's very talented. I don't know why she's not in more things, honestly. But I don't know. I just felt like this is the decision that she made, and she's living in it. And I don't know. I think the grief part is the part. Like, I would feel better if she just owned it. Like, yo, I didn't want to do this. Like,
what's wrong with her saying grief though? Because all she's saying is that like one person is saying like I made the decision and I own it, and you didn't say that the person that you were talking about said I regret. They said no. I'm selfish.
Yeah, I'm selfish. I want my life to be about me.
Yeah,
I want to travel. I want to pay I want my money to be for me.
Even from that point, this person still doesn't want to have children.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But she's a person that wants to have children at this point, right?
Or be in a all right, children was one part of it. Or be in a relationship. Get in a relationship. Like, is it hard to like when you guys met your wives, like you knew they were you kind of liked them from the beginning, right? You kind of knew they were the ones. Like,
right, but
people kind of overcomplicate meeting people and getting along with people. And
well, I do think that is true. I also think the further you go in the journey, the more difficult it is based on you being too used to you and too used to your own self-liberties and wanting to sacrifice. I think what was helpful to, let's say, me and Iran is the fact that while we were still learning ourselves, we were learning somebody else. We kind of molded together at the same time, right? Along my journey, I've had to learn with the same person. I've had to learn multiple people. I had to learn the person at 18, I had to learn the person at 25, I had to learn the person at 30 and 35 and so on. Right.
You had to go to the baby fat era.
Right. Oh, yeah. With the you know what I mean, the J-Lo glasses. You know what I'm saying? So with learning that same person, I was correcting myself kind of the whole way. For a person like her, you know, if you think about it, she's been acting since her 20s. Let's go, right? Maybe a relationship when you're on a fully functioning sitcom at the time could be considered a distraction to a degree.
Yourself too much.
Maybe that's exactly what I was thinking about.
Maybe not smelling yourself, but it's just, you know, more. Well, I'm pretty sure a woman who looks like her has options behind. Now, whether or not they're suitable for her, not really sure. Because I know of a few professional women who look really good, who I would think as a guy has options, right? But at first, like I said, it's about the career, right? Then, you know, as you get the career, now you've feel like you've mastered yourself.
You become pretentious.
Would you mind, you know, in this case, kind of clarifying that for me?
You start taking yourself too serious. because of what you've
Okay.
accomplished.
Okay,
You feel like
I'm on Channel 9 every Thursday. UPN.
quite possibly maybe some starts and fails, a few start and fails. You know, also too, I kind of feel like maybe I'm wrong. Like women, see, guys can kind of go through relationship after relationship, right? Like you said, with women, the party's at their house, right? GB, you always said that is one of your statements.
Mhm.
The
You ain't
party,
said that in a long time.
yeah, right. But listen, it always stood with me. You saying the party's at their house. So every time a guest comes and leaves, right, they take something with them.
Yeah.
So the optimism begins to. A guy could always kind of start over with that optimism, a little bit. You know what I mean? The women after a while, that
Wash
optimism.
off in the sink and get,
Yeah,
keep it
I
moving,
think-
right?
I ain't
never
gonna lie to you.
happened.
I think some guys go through it too, but
But men definitely go through it. We
that's-
try to minimize what men go through, but men definitely take a
Okay.
little piece of that broad with them.
when you ask the question like, why is it so hard to get into a relationship? It's like people start to take themselves too seriously.
That's exactly what it is.
Like it's like, oh, I did this, so I can't date, what we used to date, or I can't date that type of guy that's into me, because it's a lot of the times it's not a lack of options, it's the lack of options that you feel like qualify for you.
What would you have said to her if she was there and you would have, and she said that? Like, what would have been if she would have been here with us and she said that? What would have been your next words to her? Matter of fact, can we play it one more time? And let's talk to her. Let's run it back. And let's.
Okay, let me run that back.
If we ain't lose it.
No, we didn't lose it. That was this one, right?
Yeah.
And as much as grief does surface for me around not having children and not having a partner, I still wouldn't want the wrong partner.
That's a great point for people to
at
hear.
all.
Yes.
I'm not interested in that. You have to make my life better. It can't just be, I'm in a relationship to be in a relationship. So even though the grief does emerge and that comes and I hold that, I think of what I've done, and I woke up every morning trying to do my best. I didn't wake up one morning and be like, I'm going to mess this day up.
That's right.
So I must be where I'm supposed to be. And I don't know. Sometimes I think of all of the things I've done, the courage that I've had to have, and what I've had to learn how to navigate as a single person with no one to hide behind.
Yeah.
And it's built a really beautiful experience around me. And I have incredible friends.
Grief, no one to hide behind, no protection, but leaning on a friend. What would you have said to her? Coming off of that,
First thing I would ask is, like, you're telling me you didn't have any serious relationships, you didn't have any serious suitors before in the past?
right?
Because, like, she's a decent looking woman, right? Like,
Yeah.
depending on
Real good looking woman. What are you talking about? Decent.
I think it depends on what you like in a woman.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? She's not like,
cool.
she has.
No, she cold to me, boy.
So either way, like, I think universally she's decent looking or whatever, but I think, some niggas will be like, yo, I really like her. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But
She got the
so
hair, she got the booty. What? Full fledged.
yeah,
Full-fledged
she got
rocket.
she got a wagon.
Style. She got
got a-
super style.
She's a Westbury.
Always
5.
fresh.
Okay.
She's a
All right.
Westbury 5. Like,
Nah. Nah, Lord.
it's not. It's a little bit above mid.
Nah.
So you say
Now
that
Cypher
cool,
got-
right? You say that cool.
Yeah.
And chances are is that there's a lot of dudes that were probably trying to holler at her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
what happened? You understand what I'm saying?
Did she date Common?
Huh?
Did she date Common?
I don't think so.
Or she never dated
Oh.
Common?
Did she date Common?
I don't know. Common looked like a nigga.
I
in a
don't
white-
really know who she dated, to be honest with you. I think a lot of her life has been on the low. She's kept it
I
You know,
ain't
for
gonna
your
lie to you.
Malowski.
For a very long time, I thought she might have been. She went the other way, but
Nah, she
It's-
don't give those vibes.
Fine. Fine as
um,
they come.
but I would. That's the first thing I would ask her.
Mhm.
And as far as like grieving and things like that, like evidently, like she did shit her way, right? And
Accomplished.
I think a lot of the times, like this is probably what men have to deal with a lot more.
Yeah.
Where it's like, all right, do I if I do this, I'm probably going to either I'm going to men can do it, right? And this is what this is the problem is, right? This I'm sorry, I'm formulating a thought right now, right?
Come on, I hear you.
So
In real time.
like a dude,
Mhm.
a dude could accomplish all his goals and still create children afterwards,
Yeah.
right? Financial goals and whatever he wants to accomplish, start a company, this, that, and the third, and still have time to make a kid.
No, bigger than that. You'll build a whole castle and move in a woman to have kids with and move his family into the life that he's built.
Yeah, exactly.
Which
But with her, like, all right, she's actively working. Let's just say she's working on Girlfriend. She's in her 30s, and it's her first big break and getting like a show that's her first like on the scene type of situation. Then she's getting other situations. She's growing and her career is blossoming. She can't stop that to have a child. She's not gonna sacrifice that to have a
That's
child.
what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? Like women have this idea of like it's women are scarce in the industry. So if I take time off, some other woman's gonna step into my place.
so she doesn't have a husband because she doesn't have a child. Like why?
I'm just thinking about the mindset of it.
All right.
You understand what I'm saying? I think
I mean, and plenty of women have done it.
I the reason why
Plenty of women
she
have
doesn't
done
have a guy is that I ain't gonna lie to you. I like you said you said she's mid, right?
Bullshit.
You got to think about. I'm not saying as far as looks. I think she's a very good looking woman, but she's not. She doesn't have universal like characteristics. Like you kind of gotta like a certain. You gotta like her look in a sense, right? So you said she's a mid, right? In Hollywood, you got Halle Berry, you got this chick, you got that chick. That's like, if you don't see her every week on Girlfriends, you'd be like, or even if you saw her, like, even when you see her in a Kanye video next to Nia Long, you didn't like, yo, Tracy Ellis. Nah, you looking at Nia. You know what I mean? Like most, you know what I mean? So I like, all right, she's competing in the industry, right? And now it's probably dudes hollering at her, but she's not Halle Berry where she's getting like the R&B singers and the players, the baseball players to marry her.
NBA players,
But
baseball players. There's plenty of professionals that are out there.
But you have to remember, Halle Berry was also cheated on. Halle Berry, you know what I mean? Like,
but she got married though. She was able to get married
very late.
And
very late.
She got married multiple times.
Okay, that makes it better.
I'm just saying she was able to get married. That's what I'm trying to say.
She's not having this conversation.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Like, we're talking about a failure to launch.
I'm pretty sure she could get married if it was probably on her not to.
This is why I'm all right. But the options that are presented to her probably weren't good enough for her. And when she's popping and she's 30, then she hits 40, and it's like, all right, you starting to age into the older chick inside the industry, right? So now you're late 30s, early 40s. You got 25-year-olds in the industry that these older actors and stuff like that are checking for.
Yeah.
And now you're in your 50s, but you're not really. You probably feel like I'm on this particular level. I'm quote unquote like maybe I'm close to being an A-list actor or actress.
Yeah.
Now I can't really date anybody.
Well, my small rebuttal is this. Okay, you know when you talk about women that are in let's choose Hollywood or whatever the case was. There's so many industries outside of, like, let's just take finance. You mean to tell me that there's probably not some, gentleman close to her age, a little younger, whatever the case was, industries like finance, industries like construction and things who make great money, architects and shit like that, like who are not in engineers and
why would I want to
doctors?
If I'm not,
because you like her.
If I'm not, no, hold. If I'm not,
at the end of the day, we're all just people. We just date people. Not everybody's dating somebody because they're on TV or because
this is what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say. Like people. All right, if I'm not a fan,
right,
and I'm not fanning because she's an actress,
yeah.
What makes me go to her?
I'm pretty sure
I just met her and she's a cool chick.
I'm willing to bet money,
and we got a couple things in common.
This is okay. This is what I'm trying to. What I'm trying to say is like I feel like you don't. That's why it might be her fault. Like she.
Oh no, I'm sure it's definitely her fault.
I think
we're not rebuttaling that.
No,
but I'm just saying, let's just call it any kind of gathering. If she walks in the room, I'm pretty sure there are multiple men that are like, "Oh shit, GB, you full of shit right now, GB." Full of shit. I'm not gonna let you do that.
Yeah, my girl.
And we're talking about listen. We might be talking about other races.
We're
talking about other races. We're talking about all kind of other things. Like,
you
not
think
just
Denzel is like, oh shit, yo, she.
No, but see, that's in the same. But what I'm saying is, there's life outside of Hollywood. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
There's life outside of Hollywood, but I mean that are also making. First of all, okay,
somebody on a lower level socially than her.
Socially, you're saying.
I'm asking you, is that what you're trying to say? Somebody outside of that doesn't have the celebrity of her. That
she definitely gets hollered at.
Like plenty.
For sure. And this is what I'm trying to talk about as far as people being pretentious and feeling like, yo, right, okay. I'm bigger than right. I'm bigger now, so I can't date you. Like you.
Okay, so you're saying she's saying she can't date a doctor?
Her nose is too up in the air, my boy.
She can't date a high lawyer?
She can't understand why you can't vacation for a month. She can't conform to regular people life. Like
finance, dude,
I would if I was in that room, if I was in there, I would ask her, why did her last 2 relationships fail? You know, whose fault was it? Just what was the last argument? What was the last 2 problems? You know, and I could take everything I would need off of there. I think she's so up in the air, she can't even conform to a regular dude, you know? And I feel like in this case, this is what she's going to need.
Is a doctor considered a regular dude?
To her, yeah. Yeah, I mean, kind of, yeah. Oh, yo, because the doctor can't vacation for a month.
A good doctor is probably making more money than a lot of the guys in Hollywood.
Peep game.
Bro, like
what's his name? Hold on. Jeff Bezos' wife just got divorced, right? Caught a lick. She got married within the same year to a school teacher.
Exactly, regular guy.
Like you could find it because she's just a regular chick. Her like she not up in the air. She could conform into a regular nigga's life. I don't really think that people with status, women with status, can even consider themselves being submissive to like a regular dude.
Yeah,
basing her life around
submissive is a strong word.
Yeah, submissive is not a strong word.
Ron, would you say your wife is submissive? My wife isn't submissive to
right,
me. You wouldn't say your wife is submissive.
I'm going by what you said, right?
Submissive is a strong word.
You got to think about it like
this. I get my shit off.
You got to think about it like this, right? Like money. I don't think money is that. Like money is important, right? But you got to think about somebody that even if they don't have a lot of money, if they're on set, they get everything brought to them. Somebody they got assistants, they got people, they got this, that, and the third, right?
Yeah.
So, all right, a doctor.
They have lifestyle.
Let's say a doctor. A doctor is, let's say, a high income person, an employee or whatever, or work somewhere, or whatever, like that. They're not socially, like academically, they're probably on a higher level. But like when you go to a party or something like that, a celebrity party, like, all right, you're a doctor. that doesn't kind of
You're
transcend.
just
Like,
a
I
doctor.
don't know, man.
I don't think that transcends to like the Hollywood parties.
You
know
just
what I mean?
save lives, sir.
Well, listen,
Yeah.
honestly,
You
Ron,
draw blood today.
if that is the mind frame, right, that she possesses, where you could look at someone like a doctor, lawyer, or somebody really high in finance, or somebody really high in real estate or something like that. If you could say that you're socially not where I'm at, then I guess you don't really deserve. Because like, what
That's
are you?
what I'm saying.
What are you looking for? Then you don't deserve it, I guess.
Yo, cool. A
That's what I can say.
surgeon is probably bringing in more paper than her anyway.
That's what I said. Killing everybody. A lot of people in Hollywood.
Yeah.
As far as
it's
paper
like,
goes,
but he's just not available to go to that event or that thing or that gala and all that. And that's where she kind of needs a dude for it. She needs a little boy toy, which leads us right into our second joint. All right, let's go. Let's go.
Of it is because
Let's stop on that, folks.
oh my God, we had a
Several
great dinner.
snaps
We
on that
we
one.
had a great dinner, by the way. We're across the reasons. I mean, we've talked about this that often I date younger men, and a lot of it is because
Let's stop on that, folks.
oh my God, we had a
Several
great dinner.
snaps
We
on that
we
one.
had a great dinner, by the way. We're across the table. Your husband goes, but why? And I said, well, maybe because I can.
Yes, Harish. This is what I'm saying. Tales from Tracy's.
It's fun. It's very
Okay,
fun to share.
Tracy tale.
But
You date a
Oh,
younger
I'm sorry.
woman.
but one of the
Younger man.
reasons though that because I had to ask myself that question, I was like, what is this about?
Yeah.
Because I want a partner, and so often, and it's not just that I'm older. I'm also very embodied. I am a full, very whole person who
Yes.
knows myself, who is in charge of my life, and who lives a very full, just robust life. So it's not just age, it's like life experience and sort of a difference. But I had to ask myself the question, why? Why does this keep sort of coming up other than they're hot and gorgeous?
There's that.
There's that. But a lot of men my age are steeped in a toxic masculinity and have been raised in a culture where there is a particular way that a relationship looks. And anything that starts to smell of that for me,
Yeah.
I did enough of it
Yeah.
where I was controlled and felt like I was a possession or whatever those things were, or prize and I have no interest in it, and I
And
will
you-
not do it again.
all right. Can I say something initially?
Mhm.
I believe. Well, that particular statement almost goes totally against the perceived notion we were giving her in the first place. Right? Dating a younger, so it's almost like maybe she could date a regular guy. You get what I'm saying? Because the first thing she said is that I felt like I was some kind of prize or some of that nature, right? So that would be a guy with either similar social status or higher social status, bringing her to the thing, saying, "Look what I got," kind of on my arm. When a younger guy, possibly a regular guy, because now if we're talking younger guys in Hollywood, they're probably dating younger chicks in Hollywood, right? They're probably they're in their own little circle. So to me, it almost seems like, she seems to be attracted to
She want to be the
Dudes.
boss.
possibly.
Let me read the.
So that kind of I'm just saying that kind of
let me
goes
read the-
against what we
Let
were
me read
kind
the
of chatting about.
definition for toxic masculinity.
Oh, here we go. That thing again.
A set of attitudes and ways of behaving stereotypically associated with or expected of men, regarded as having a negative impact on men, on society. I guess I'm lost this shit. As a whole. The destructive messages associated with toxic masculinity can lead to men feeling entitled to engage in violence against women. Like, it went that hard. Like,
That all the way to
that's
violence.
That's the Oxford definition of toxic masculinity.
No, I don't.
So it's
agree.
like stereotypical behaviors and everything like that. It's like
Masculinity is like a gun.
Mm.
It's like a gun in the wrong hands, right?
Got you.
I think masculinity is toxic when it's in the hands of a woman, when she's trying to be masculine.
Oh,
But she doesn't know how to handle that.
Mm.
Because ultimately, naturally, she is feminine, right? And that's going against her God-given nature.
Mhm.
And that's why it becomes toxic. And that's how they view it in that way, right?
Okay.
Because a woman that's ultimately feminine, divinely feminine, has no one with a masculine man. It's always the ones that are on the cusp of like, quote unquote, calling themselves alpha and all that other shit like that.
Yeah.
And they said they're a masculine woman. Those are the ones that have a problem with masculinity from men.
Yeah.
Because there's a headbutt, right?
Mhm.
The man is naturally that way. You're the one that's kind of out of order in a sense.
Oh boy.
Not the woman, not the man.
Yeah.
Because that's the man's nature in a sense, right? Masculinity is related to man. So if it's toxic, it's because you're giving some of that, you're trying to take some of that masculinity, and we're bumping heads now because it's like two dudes getting into an altercation.
Yeah.
Can I sidebar that a little bit?
Sure.
Could toxic? Okay. All right. So I'm with you as far as masculinity is supposed to be what we are. That's supposed to be our baseline, right? We're supposed to be tough enough to handle things and yada yada yada. Does it become toxic? Do they mean toxic, or do they mean like entitlement? Because let's just say it's one thing to be masculine enough to protect, but when you expect, let's say, walking in and saying, "Hey, I want my dinner like this," or "I want it," you know what I'm saying? That like a level of entitlement that makes it toxic. It's like, because you're a woman, you're supposed to do this. Or you're supposed to do that.
Well, yeah. All right. What's the difference between saying like, "Hey, I'm hungry. Where's my dinner?" Or "I want my dinner like this" as a man, or for the women coming in and being like, "Hey, my tire's flat in the driveway."
So I don't know. I feel like
Like we have gender roles when it's convenient for other people.
No, when it's
but-
convenient for women.
Well, yeah,
oh man.
there, we've been brainwashed into feeling guilty about being men. And it's like this trade-off that we're doing it's cool, and we're volunteering to do it, and we're all proud to be to aspire to be better fathers than our fathers. Shout out to my father. Today's his birthday. Shout out to Sylvia's.
Okay.
Have a
All right.
cups up to you. But I'm aiming to be a better dad than him. He was a great dad, but I want to be a better dad, and I want to be a better husband, and I want to be better. And by that means we're gonna take a little bit off of the women's plate, and we're gonna do a little bit more on our side, and we're gonna conform a little bit.
Yeah,
But
because
they kind
society pushes that. But go ahead.
Well, it's not just society pushes that. I feel like to evolve, we should be better, and maybe that
you can call it that. We're evolving.
Yeah, we're evolving, and this toxic masculinity word is being tossed around, and it's like it's cool, and we could absorb it, and we could see it, and we could see it in the world, and we will address it. There are certain things in the world that are toxic masculinity.
So,
but as a whole, we're trying to be better, and women are taking advantage of it.
Okay, can I ask Cool a question?
Sure.
So, what she said in the clip, she was saying how pretty much in a nutshell, like a man wanting to lead and like her to be like his side piece. Not a side piece, but like
her Coretta, like she don't want to be anybody's Coretta Scott King.
All right, if you want to call it that, but the way she explained was basically like, all right, like the man is the lead and she's his partner and whatever. And she felt like that was toxic masculinity, right? What was so toxic about that?
I'm not really sure I got that just a man wanting to lead was considered toxic. I don't think that's what I got from it. I'm guessing the way these men led was, maybe out of pocket to some sense, or
She said it was
or entitlement came into the play at that point. If they were socially on her level or higher, right? Level or higher, then maybe they were, it could be simple things of just being extra bossy, or what I mean, and things like that, like maybe acting like an asshole all day long, but now it's sex time or whatever. I don't know. That it didn't seem like a guy doing the regular guy thing was what she was referring to. I don't think
she mentioned that. She said, "Oh, when were you born?" And I guess the dudes that she's talking about are more traditional, right? Where it's like the way relationships were in the past.
I mean, we've seen some Mike Turners, right? We've seen some people in the past that necessarily.
All right, so here we go.
No, I'm just saying. Yes or no?
Yeah, but you think every dude back in the day was just beating chicks up?
Nope. I'm not. I'm not saying at all. I'm just. Well, maybe those are some of the things she ran into.
And this, all right, this is one of the issues, because I swear I was watching a video on YouTube, and it's like people make out as if back in the day, the world was like a Tyler Perry movie where all black men or men was fucking tyrants and whipping, slapping their wives and telling them to cook dinner and stay pregnant and slapping the shit out of them, having sex with them, and like
I think
yo,
it's
bro,
the opposite.
I
was on a pedestal.
I believe that the same way men are today, it's a lot of the times it's a line close to where it is now, where it's like men, majority of men don't have a whole nother family or across town. A lot of men don't physically beat their wives. A lot of men don't disrespect their women and things like that. I think it was more, the only thing that was different is that men more or less like, all right, they work and they'll give their whole check to their family, and they just like, all right, I'm sitting in front of the TV, I'm eating dinner and stuff like that, right? They weren't, the only thing that I don't think was different was that they didn't have to do a lot of the stuff that men do today.
Right.
The sharing duties with women, right? But not like on some like, bitch, you better do this, you better clean all my shit or whatever, clean the shit stains out my drawers and all, you know what I mean? Like all that type of stuff. Like men were tyrants. Because I know there were men out there that my grandfather had 10 kids.
I was just gonna go with that. Let's start with the grandfathers.
He had 10 kids. And
from your grandmother?
From my grandmother.
Okay, good.
They had 10 kids. And they stayed together for a very long time, probably after they weren't, just stayed together for the sake of the family. And then eventually they parted ways, right? My father's father, the same thing. He stayed, had family or whatever, and then he got remarried and got another wife and this, that, and the third. And like, I never heard of like him having, when they both passed away, I didn't hear about no additional kids or anything like that, or any domestic violence or nothing like that. I feel like more or less like back then, a husband would more or less like, yo, when I take on a family, I'm taking on everything, and I'm, you know what I mean? Yeah. It wasn't even like,
but that's toxic masculinity now. To take on the role of being the provider for everybody, or to just want to do that, is looked at as toxic masculinity, and it's like.
But I'm
ashamed now.
I believe that a lot of men. I'm sorry. Go ahead, GB.
No, go ahead.
I believe a lot of men may want that title, but not necessarily take on the role of fully provide.
Right.
That's, I think, a difference now. You know what I mean? Where, okay, a man that was fully providing maybe would want things a certain way, but now if your wife is working just as much as you are, and then you're coming home and expecting, you know what I'm saying, expecting a certain level of, you know, that gender role now to come into play, then I think that's where the mix up happens.
Yo, bro.
It was easy for a guy back in the day to say, I worked all day. No, I'm just saying back in.
All right. Just speak to me in real time, right?
Yeah.
So do you know a guy in real life that works and then has his wife or his girlfriend working full time, taking care of kids, and demand certain things from that person?
I know one right off the rip. Yep.
I don't know too many like that. I know
name one right now. I'm not gonna do it. But
everybody that I know, like even the most like kind of rigid person, they're sharing duties. They're sharing like certain duties, whether it be household stuff, whether it be going to kids' activities and things like that.
Especially
right?
The kids, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And like this idea of men and women like this it's like a toxic relationship where it's like these women are so docile and they're men are so tyrannical and they're beating on women and no. Idea doesn't it's not real, bro.
No,
it's not real. I'm not saying that women don't get beat and things like that.
No.
Domestic violence doesn't happen.
Let's
this idea of how men control everything, whatever. Because like I know men that they like a lot of the times when a man has a girlfriend, when a man doesn't have a girlfriend, right? When a man is married, they're doing everything for women, even when you're single, to try to get women, right? And then when you get into a relationship, you're doing everything, working, giving all your money to keep that woman happy. You understand what I'm saying? Like, yo, I am obsessed with my wife's happiness because I know that her happiness is a fucking a thermometer in my household. Whether she's happy, it could determine whether the house is good or not. So
yeah, I'm definitely not obsessed with it. I would like you to be happy. Obsession is a very strong
like yo, I worry. I'm like, yo, it is something happens. All right, is that a problem? Is it not a problem or whatever? You know what I mean? And I think most men that they're with a woman or whatever, they're going to their first agenda or the first thing that they have to do is make sure that woman is happy. And I think most men do that. I don't think most men are on some shit where it's like, I don't give a fuck about what this chick, I don't care.
I think there's a difference between I don't give a fuck and I gotta make sure that she's happy. I gotta make sure these bills are paid. I gotta make sure, but I can't make.
That's part of it, though.
Well, yeah, that's part. Well, if you want to make sure that's part of it, then that's part of it. But
a woman doesn't want to stress about certain things. They don't want to have to worry about certain things.
They can't. Shit, the pussy dry up. Worried about bills. That's dry. Listen, I'm looking at it like our roles in marriage, especially. It's almost like if you analogize it to like the NBA. Back in the day, the point guard was the primary ball handler. Center got in the paint. Power forward got all the rebounds. 3 guard was, the small forward ran the breaks and everything like that. And then the shooting guard kind of hang out on the 3-point line, waiting for that mid-range or for that 3-point shot. Now everybody kind of plays the same position, but when a play is called, everybody knows who and where to go. Right now in marriages and in in our communities and everything like that, everybody's playing the same position almost, but we still got to remember what role we actually play. And we got to take pride in those roles. You know what I mean? And I feel like men are really the only ones kind of really taking pride in remembering what roles that we're playing as a whole.
Their role, men's role hasn't really.
My household, because my wife is a traditional wife.
The idea of the role of a man has not really changed. Yeah. Now, what you're what you're supposed to provide,
Mhm.
being a provider,
Yeah.
might be less because you got a two people household,
Yeah.
right? Two people contributing
And
financially
that's
to
not
the
a
household.
luxury. That is what it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
That's what it takes to
All right.
happen in America. Hold on one
Go ahead.
second. My bad. Interrupt you. As the mother, as the nurturer, right? Like, if our kid is sick and got to go to the doctor, yeah, if it's like a mild sickness, whatever, I could take her after school.
Mm.
But if she's sick, I expect you to want to take off from work
Oh yeah.
and go see what's going on
Mhm.
with our child. Because it's like, if you don't, it's like kind of weird, like that you don't want to nurture your offspring.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because that's like, I don't know, it's like unnatural almost. You know, it's almost like you're becoming a man. Like a man is always gonna be like, no, I gotta secure these resources because if I can't bring this back home, then we can't survive. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But a woman is always gonna want to nest and nurture and get this kid back into like shape, and then the dad could handle little dentist appointments and physicals and all that. Like yeah, we do all that stuff, but they're the CEO of that stuff. Like, you know what I mean? And we defer to them.
Absolutely.
On those things.
Mhm.
So I don't know. And that's kind of where I'm kind of seeing, like, she's just a representation of, successful people as a whole, just putting so much work into themselves and then just kind of like gatekeeping their success and not being able to share. She would have benefited from meeting someone early in life and falling in love with that person and building her success with that person that she loved and being there. But now, as she became a bitter divorced man without even going through anything. Like, I kind of feel
though.
no,
She
she sounds a little bit like calling
she's not blamed.
calling men her age toxic.
Oh, okay.
Masculine.
Okay. I
like,
forgot about that. Yeah.
That's a little bitter. Like, come on, man. Like, just because we expect you to like,
Yeah. Let's
cook me
stay.
something,
Let's stay
like,
there.
just because it's because it's like it'll be fly on our third date if you cook me something.
It sounds like
if I'm coming to your house like to watch a movie
Mhm.
or some Netflix and chill shit, like, what's the spaghetti like? Like, what's it? Like, hook me up something. Like, after we blaze, like, you gonna make me a turkey and Swiss? Like, what's up, man? Like, turkey and Swiss is kind of wild. Turkey and American. Like, but like,
I think it sounds as if
like, man, get up and get the rag. Like, get the hot rag. Like, please.
It sounds like she dates younger because
them niggas gonna get the rag.
There's a control.
Young niggas gonna get the rag.
There's a control. Yes.
Get the rag, young buck.
There's a control.
She could run them niggas into the kitchen, go warm up the rag just like the way she like it, and go bring her back a sandwich. She want to be a nigga.
So ultimately, this is where it all comes full circle, where it's like, all right, the results are the results, because all right, let's just, hypothetically speaking, if you're dating younger dudes, I'm assuming you're not just dating, if you're 50, you're dating people like 45 or 40s. You probably dating dudes that are in their 30s or something like that, right? And 30-year-old dudes they're not marrying a 53-year-old. I don't care how accomplished you are or whatever. It's the likelihood is very slim to none.
You're gonna run
and
up the
if
bill,
they do, it's because of your celebrity and your money.
Yeah.
So if she's like continuing that cycle of just dating younger guys, she's probably having some good sex, and that's it, and she moves on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because to be honest with you, if it comes down to, like, let's say a woman that's 53, she might have to holler at a dude her age or a little bit older. You know what I mean? Because even though she looks good for her age, like, ultimately, like, a 53-year-old that's like socially on her level or financially on her level, he doesn't have to date a 53-year-old.
Right.
So it just that's just how it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And again, I think there's a bit of masculinity there, and ultimately, when it's placed in the wrong hands, it can be detrimental.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, these ultimately, like, if you want to act like a dude, these are the results of dudes. Like, but the thing is, you don't have the
dudes take care of people all the time.
You don't have the genitalia to not have those regrets at this point.
Mhm.
Like, if you a 53-year-old man, you probably could have some kids right now. If you made the statement today, but ultimately,
that's a whole, another episode. That womb is expired. Like, it's dried up. It's nothing we could do with that. So that's, we're just talking about the aspect of just finding something else. I wanted to talk about before we wrapped up was on this. She said, I have great friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you could find great friends, right, and you could cultivate great friendships and find great people, why can't you find a great partner? Are great friends harder to find than great spouses?
Yeah, for sure. Or like, you gotta ask yourself, what is somebody's definition of a friend?
Mm-hmm.
Hollywood people, they might call somebody they met a couple of times, or so, as if that's my friend, that's my brother. Oh, I got love for that person. You know what I mean? So I don't know what she defines as a friend.
Yeah.
And ultimately, like, you require a lot more from your partner than you do from your friend.
Definitely.
So yeah, it could be pretty difficult.
You got any final words on this altogether?
I did have something, but I kind of slipped my mind. Okay, that's what I was gonna say. I've said this before, right? And it might apply more to regular folks than to celebrities and people that have not even people that have like shapeshifters or people that change the world. Like, if women would like to act like men, right? They got to understand that it's really not going to work for them, right? So you got, like, let's say a guy like Bill Gates or a guy like Elon Musk or whatever. These guys that have spent mad time working on whatever their goal is to become rich and become successful, right? They've worked on their goal and then they've gotten married. Like, Bill Gates had already done his thing with Microsoft before he married Melinda. And Elon Musk had already popped before he got married and started having children and all that good shit, right? Or is he married? He has a lot of kids though.
Like Elon Musk?
Yeah.
Nah.
But he had a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
Right? But he started having kids after he started making bread, right? They, men can do that. They have a longer time frame to actually produce children.
Well, they don't have to incubate the baby either. They can drop it off and then they keep it moving. So
yeah, they don't have to do that. But I think we're living in a time where as a lot of women have been convinced that they can live their lives like men, and it's like, it's not the same, and when people say it's not the same, it's like that fight just comes in. It's like, what do you mean it's not the same? I can do anything that a dude can do. You understand what I'm saying? And it's just like, bro, like, you don't have to fight against everything. You understand what I'm saying? And you could be so accomplished, but we're talking about guys that are billionaires, that focus on legacy, not just the money they leave behind or whatever work they left behind, but their legacy of children, grandchildren, things like that. That's very, very important.
Yeah.
So if it's important to these people, right, why do you act like it's not important to you, right? I think it kind of lends to the mindset of women. Women, you know, ultimately, if they don't have anybody, they don't have to worry about anybody. You know what I mean? As men, even if you don't have a wife, a lot of men they be like, I got to take care of my moms, I got to take care of my sister, I got to, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Where it's like,
there are women that are captains of industry. Like when you say you don't have to worry about people, like, you know, women without families do have
this is what I'm talking about.
high
Men
profile jobs.
all right.
Like
Who's richer than Gates and Musk right now? But they have families, they have kids, they have legacy.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm trying to talk about. Like, yo, like, all right, are you willing to sacrifice that? And evidently, these guys are telling you that that's just as important as the bread. You know, me creating a family, or, you know, like, this brings my life full circle. And I think for most women, that's how they feel, right? And in order for you to not feel that way, you're kind of like pushing against what your natural embodiment or feeling is. And in order to just focus on like, nah, I don't. But then what ultimately happens is that you get to the point where it's like you start to regret and you start to grieve where we're at right now. So understand, there are a lot of women out there that have had marriages that have failed, relationships that have failed, but they might regret the guy that they had the baby with, but they don't regret the children. You know, like, it might sound corny or cliche, but kids are a blessing. Like, look at LeBron James. Like, I don't know nobody know who his pops is, but his mom's, she had him, and then he's, you know,
there you go,
great, one of the greatest basketball players that ever lived. You know what I mean? And whatever, you never know. And for most people, like, they'll work on a career, they'll retire, they'll get they'll get some accolades or whatever, but people forget about them. Your family is what keeps you really living and keeps your legacy alive. So I think we should uphold that more than the material or the worldly things that are here right now. Because when we gone, it's not like they, you know, a lot of places that you work for, you got a good job, they're not going to put a plaque up to say, oh, this person worked here and they did okay for us when they worked there. So, you know, that's probably the most precious thing, or the most priceless thing that we leave to this world is our legacy.
Yeah, I could do it.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. We'll leave it like that.
All right. Shout out to everyone tuned in on YouTube and Facebook. Please remember to share so we can get more people to tap into the conversation.
Sure.
How we feel about this red breast.
It's cool, man. It's hitting.
Yeah, we had this before, man.
Yeah. I think you grabbed it from me from
a while. Yeah, it was a while ago, but
yeah,
this is a good one, man.
Yeah, it's nice. Irish.
You're an Irish guy.
Yeah, I'm an Irish guy.
Yeah.
I like these.
Irish, the characteristics of Irish, always so, you know, never very smooth. Yeah. I think this one of the probably the smoothest whiskey.
Yes. It's not too sweet.
Not too sweet.
Yeah. Like, I drink my coffee black. Like, I like just to just drink what I'm drinking.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not really like a mixed cocktail kind of guy.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah.
All right.
I like the Irish.
All right. So the red breast, single pot still Irish whiskey, aged 12 years. Notes of dry fruit, spice, toasted wood, full flavor fruit spice, sherry follows, and a complex lingering finish. Definitely described it to a T. I think it gets a thumbs up from the Cigars and Whiskey podcast.
Oh, most definitely.
Guys, let us know what you guys think about this red breast 12 year, and hit us up in the comments. If you don't follow us on IG. Please do at Cigars Whiskey. That's Cigars with the S Whiskey. Also subscribe to the YouTube channel, Cigars the Ensign Whiskey Podcast. Again, Cigars the Ensign Whiskey Podcast. Remember to like, share, and also subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for notifications so you know when we have new content coming out. Corey Cool, let the people know where they can find you.
CoolUniversity.com, baby.
All right. And with that, we want to thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the Cigars and Whiskey Podcast. We will catch you on the next one. Peace.
Peace.